It's going down like Young Jock. This is crazy.
Atlanta is sending first-round picks in both 2027 and 2028 to acquire Reese and a 2028 second-round swap.
The freaking free agency period, it just started. It just started today, and Angel Reese is already.
And we've got to talk about this right now, because one of the biggest deals we've seen so far in this early WNBA offseason is Angel Reese getting traded to the Atlanta Dream. And honestly, that's a perfect dream situation if things fall into place the right way.
They won 13 games a couple of years ago, went 10-34 last year. I'm used to Angel Reese being in winning situations. 14 points, 12 rebounds a game. She's a glue piece. She's somebody that's very, very capable. And Atlanta is coming off a really, really good season. They went 30-14 last year. You know, the Atlanta community will magnetize themselves towards her. I like the situation for Angel Reese personally. I'm very, very happy.
And listen, you've got to feel good for Angel Reese because she clearly wasn't satisfied last season. And honestly, you can understand why. She closely watched how the Indiana Fever set things up for Caitlin Clark, especially since Clark landed on a roster that already featured proven all-stars Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell. And Caitlin Clark still managed to find a strong rhythm and make an impact in her rookie year. But then the real question is, what did the Indiana Fever do heading into the next season? They attacked the offseason and brought in a 6-time All-Star in Wnba. On top of that, they added a proven champion in Satasha Howard, and they weren't done making moves. They continued stacking talent by bringing in a reliable shooter in Sophie Cunningham. So now you're looking at a Fever roster loaded with multiple All-Star level players sharing the court. And when you compare that to what the Chicago Sky provided for Angel Reese, it just doesn't add up at all.
And the smoke and fire piece, let me just explain. Last year at the end of the regular season, Angel Reese boldly and competitively called out the Chicago Sky for how they would move forward in terms of needing talent if they were going to compete, saying that she wanted to be a part of the organization and she wanted to compete at a high level. It didn't go over so well, Jay, in the public eye domain, at least as far as Chicago brass was concerned, and she actually ended up being suspended for a half a game. Now, she finished the season with some injuries and didn't play anyway, but to me, there seemed to be sort of breadcrumbs that perhaps this organization was not prepared for her vocalness and her star power based on the influx of talent that we've seen in the WNBA as of late.
Not only did they come up short in free agency and fail to land any top-tier talent, but they also didn't even re-sign key pieces like Chicago guard Kennedy Carter, who many would argue was the standout from that previous season. And hold up, you could clearly see that Kennedy Carter and Angel Reese were beginning to develop real on-court chemistry that was starting to click at a high level.
Barbie's Rookie of the Year. There's no other way to put it. She goes out, she does her work every single night, no matter what team we're facing. I'm telling you, Barbie's Rookie of the Year.
And so that was a major moment for Angel Reese. Not only did she end up on a struggling team, but she landed on a franchise that didn't show real urgency to upgrade the roster. Honestly, it's hard even to understand the direction the Chicago Sky were trying to take. And clearly, Angel Reese wasn't given a clear vision either. That's why many fans are relieved she's moved on and now finds herself in a completely different environment with the Atlanta Dream. They've built a roster with a strong mix of talent, and on paper, she should be able to slide right in and make an impact. And let's be real, this isn't just a win for Angel Reese or the Atlanta Dream, it's also a win for the entire WNBA, because the league benefits from its biggest young stars being in competitive situations. Now we're starting to see a dynamic that people compare to something like Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson. And listen, they're not the same players, but in terms of impact and what they represent for the league, that comparison starts to make sense. This is exactly the kind of storyline the WNBA needs, top names thriving in winning environments. When both sides are in strong positions, the competition becomes more meaningful and the narratives get even bigger. On the surface, players will say the right things, exchange respect, and even team up on occasions like the Olympics. But deep down, everyone understands the rivalry angle that fans are already tuned into.
Oh my gosh, did you see that?
Yeah.
Well, they don't like each other.
Yeah.
They probably, it's a whole lot of players I didn't like. But then you immediately, people, the media, everybody else, you immediately go to social media. You have ignorant ass people like RG3 who decides he gonna go and he got all these things to say.
So where was this type of reaction last year?
when Angel Reese got chokeslammed by Alyssa Thomas of the Connecticut Sun. Y'all remember that? She got fouled so hard, they kicked Aaliyah Thomas out the game with a flagrant 2 foul. What did Angel Reese do? Nothing. She didn't get up and try to swing on her. You know why? The reaction was different because of who did it. And there is a lot of history there with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
I don't know why they had all those weird ass think pieces about it. Robert Griffin III, his tweet was fucking disgusting. Bro, basically saying she hates her. This is why she did that. Shut up. Rob Parker was right. You are a corny ass nigga.
My question, which is just a straight, honest question, is he a brother or is he a cornball brother?
As analysts, Angel Reese pushed one of her teammates. Caitlin Clark had a hard foul, which is part of basketball. I feel like it was assessed correctly. And Angel Reese's reaction is the sort of reaction you get in a situation when you feel like you took an intentionally hard foul. That's competitiveness. That's rivalry. That's not hate.
You guys remember last year when Angel Reese celebrated Kennedy Carter getting that flagrant foul on the hip check against Caitlin Clark? You remember that?
Person. And imagine if she had blown out her knee right there.
Look at
That's
that.
it.
And it was her expressing her anger. That's what was happening there.
Yeah.
This wasn't play. This was, I'm angry with you and I'm going to assault you.
It is the great equalizer beyond anything else.
She's been in the WNBA for 2 minutes. There's no reason to hate her other than the amount of attention she's getting and her skin color. I mean, would this be happening to a black Caitlin Clark?
No.
Getting the same amount of attention.
But she is the Michael Jordan of female basketball. Every single player in that league, every single coach, manager, janitor, anyone who has anything to do with that league should be bowing at the altar of this woman.
And listen, this is shaping up to be a must-watch, high-energy season for the WNBA. With the salary cap increasing in the WNBA, the timing couldn't be better for the league to start seeing a real return on its investment. And like I said, this is going to be appointment viewing, not just for die-hard WNBA fans, but even for people who don't usually tune in. Because now you've got the matchups and storylines people have been waiting for, and both stars are finally in winning environments. But that's just my perspective on it. I want to hear what you all think, so drop your opinions in the comments like you always do. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button for me one time. And as always, peace and chaos.